Hi everybody, today I am going to be updating you on my Project Stashdown project for 2022 that I started last month in April, and letting you know where I'm at with this stuff and then what is coming in the next month. So before we get into that, what is Project Stashdown? If you did not see the last video, I will link it down below. If you are at all aware of the Project Pan project, I'm not great with my words today. My words are not coming out correctly today. If you know what Project Pan is in the beauty community, it's the idea of trying to thoughtfully use up the makeup you already own. Well, I'm doing the same thing, but with a few different categories of stuff. I'm basically trying to be more thoughtful in how I use my crap. And while using it up is part of it, it's not necessarily the focus. What I want to do is every month rotate in and out some items that either got finished or didn't get finished, and so on and so forth. So my parameters around this, every month will pick items. I have 4 different categories currently. That doesn't mean I won't add or change categories. The categories are makeup and beauty, planner and stationery, art supplies, and books. I had varying levels of success this past month. In each category, I have anywhere from 2 to 5 items, to maybe 6 items, depending. And again, it's flexible, right? So the other big and my goal is that when I pick those items, my goal is to use them as much as possible in that month. Maybe to use them up, maybe not, depending on how much there was at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to evaluate and decide, and A, see what I used up, B, for the stuff I didn't use up, decide if I'm going to carry it over into the next month or hang on or replace it with something else for the sake of boredom. So those are my parameters. If you want more background on why I decided to do this, just check out the previous video. In the meantime, let's get going. What I'm going to do is go through each category, talk about the stuff that was in it and how it went, and then what I'm going to be going with in the month of May. One other note I should mention before I get into this is that I am filming this. There is still, I think, 3 more days left in April, and so I actually have a chance to continue on with some of these for another few days, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference once you see kind of where I'm at. Anyway, we'll start with makeup and beauty. So for April, I had 3 items. The first was the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint. As you can see, I have worn the shit out of this out. When I started the month, I actually have a spread in my bullet journal that has my where I started, thereabouts. It was kind of an estimate, especially with this one. It's hard to see it. I'm sort of going off of the feel. I went into this with about 60% of this left, and I feel like I'm at about a third left. So I did not finish it, but I did, using it almost every single day, I did get through a good chunk of it. Now, my original plan was to use this up so that I could buy the Easy Drops or the Ease Drops from Fenty Beauty, but now Rare Beauty has a moisturizer, a tinted moisturizer I really want to try, and that might be more up my alley. However, as I haven't used this up yet, I'm not going to buy anything else to replace it with, but I'm going to keep using it, but I am not going to continue actually trying to use it up in the Project Stashdown, even though I will probably still use the shit out of it, just because I want to bring something else into it. So I did not finish it, but I definitely probably used about half of what was left. So that's good. So the second item I have is this Ulta juice-infused lip oil in tangerine. Now, when I started the month, I said I had 50% left, but it wasn't all the way down here. It was kind of all mixed up, and so I was wrong because it looks like I still have 50% left, and I have been using the shit out of this, and it's also very sticky. I might just... Now, what I wanted to do was use this up completely and then buy the Dior lip oil. But the Dior lip oil is, A, it's $50. B, it's very out of stock because it went viral on TikTok. And I actually bought, during the Sephora sale, I bought the Merit lip oil in the shade Au Naturel, which I'm really excited to use, but I want to not use it until I have used this puppy up. I don't know if I am going to be able to completely use... I've used one of these up before, by the way. I have actually had this kind of a lip oil before from Ulta. I did not use as much as I thought I did, despite using it almost every single day, which is kind of a bummer, right? However, what I think I'm going to do, because it's kind of leaky, it's really sticky now, and it wasn't before, it's starting to leak. So what I think I'm going to do is continue using this in my Project Stashdown for May, and then at the end of May, I'm probably just going to toss it because it is getting so leaky and sticky. If it gets really funky over the course of the month, I might just toss it, but my hope is to just keep using this, and then at the end of May, in June, if I've gone through an entire month of continuing either to try and use this or getting to the point where I need to throw it away, then I will open and start using the Merit lip oil. So this guy is staying. And then the third thing was my Rare Beauty Melting Blush in the shade Nearly Mauve. And when I opened it before, you could see the pan, but I think that was a fluke because this is like a really moussey shade. As you can see from all the janky little holes in it, I've been using a stippling brush with it, but I also will use my finger with it. And I have still made plenty of progress in it, but I got very bored using the same blush every day for a month, and I didn't make hardly any visible progress. I know I made progress using this, but the little view of the pan has not changed. So I will definitely be swapping this out, but I think going at it to use it, I think if I'm going to bring a blush into my Project Stashdown over the course of the rest of the year, then I need to pick one that's a lot more used up, because I love using this and I love this blush and I really want to buy the apricot one, but I got really bored using the same blush all month, especially by the end of the month. And since it wasn't very used up to begin with, I don't feel like I made a shit ton of progress, maybe a little tiny bit of progress in there, but that's about it. So it didn't feel like I feel like I would enjoy using this more, just using it, as opposed to feeling like I'm spinning my wheels and not making a lot of progress on it. So that the learning from this is any blush I bring into it, especially a cream blush, I need to be towards the end of its life to use it up in the Project Stashdown for me to not hate my life using it every single day. So this will not be sticking around. So that means I'm going to bring in 2 more items, technically 3 more items, but 2 of them are sort of the same thing for the month of May. So we're going to continue on with the Ulta lip oil. And like I said, I am just going to keep using this until the end of the month and then probably toss it because it's getting leakier and sticky. So there's that. Next thing I'm going to bring in is these Jo Malone sample sizes. They're travel sizes actually, and I got them from Sephora. They have a little 2-pack of them. I have completely fallen down the Jo Malone fragrance rabbit hole. And of these 2, I want to just use them up as best as I can. The biggest reason I'm doing that, like this one here, the Wood Sage and Sea Salt, I have barely any left because I decided I love this scent and I've already actually bought a full bottle of it. So I want to use this puppy up and just get rid of it, or maybe hang on to the bottle and use this for a travel when I travel. This one though, the Peony Blush and Suede, I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite. I don't mind it either. So I just want to use it and see how, like, be trying intentional of how, because these are even buying the sample sizes of Jo Malone stuff is not inexpensive. And so I just want to make it a point to use this Peony Blush and Suede one until I decide I just don't like it enough to ever use it again. So I don't know if I want, basically my goal is for these guys is to completely use up what little tiny bit is left of this and then just save this for a travel bottle and use as much of this as I can over the course of the month and then retire it unless I want to go back to it. So the Jo Malone sample sizes. And then the third thing is actually, this is the third one of these I have had, so it's not something that I know I'm going to dislike. This is the Brilliant Eye Brightener in the color Miko from Thrive Cosmetics, and I do not have very much of this left. All I have left, well, actually it's a lot more than I thought, but I have this much left in it, and the thing is kind of broken, so I just want to use this up. I actually have discovered I really like the e.l.f. ones of these, and they are less expensive and easier to get my hands on. So I want to use this up and just get rid of it. So these are my makeup items for the month. My hope is that by the end of the month, I will have tossed whatever is left of this. I will be done with this. I will be done with this, and I will have just used up a lot of this. So those are my items for beauty. All right, next is my planner and stationery supplies, which was my largest category and which will continue to be my largest category. I had some great successes in this category and some not so great successes. We'll start with the not so great success. My sunflower Post-it notes. I don't even know where they are. Like, I can't even find them to show you for this video. I use them when I need them, but what I discovered in this last month is regular Post-it notes are just not something I use on the regular, so I wasn't going to run out of them this month. Anyway, so I don't know where they are. I know I did not make hardly a dent in my one pack of them, so I'm just going to continue to use them, but I'm not going to use them as part of the Project Stashdown because it wasn't really something that was working out for me. That was the not so great success. Almost everything else had some level of success. So let's look at those things. First and foremost, we'll take out the Procrastiplanner stickers, the YouTube and the YouTube Live stickers. I basically use them the way I thought I was going to use them. I basically use 1 or 2 of these every week, and I use 2 of these every week, or potentially 3 every week. And I made a dent in them, and I'm going to continue to make a dent in them. So these are definitely, I believe all I had used of these when April started was 1 of these and 2 of these because I used them the week before April started to kind of kick it off. But I knew I wasn't going to run out of them because I don't make enough videos and YouTube Lives to use them up in 1 month. But having them at the front and foremost of my mind when I was planning meant that every week I remembered to use them. And I'm going to continue that in the month of May. So these will definitely get carried over. At the rate I'm going, I think if I keep these in for May and for June, they'll probably be used up by the end of June. So we shall see if that timeline actually works out. But in the meantime, let's just set those to the side. Next was the journaling kit from Krissyanne Designs that I was using in my daily. And I still have a couple more days of this month left in my daily to use these up. But I really love the progress I made on them. So we'll go through the sheets. And I'll talk about the sheets that I felt were the easiest to use and the ones that were harder to use. So this sheet with the strips was one of the easier ones to use, except for these guys with the little broken out pieces. I don't know, this might get used up by the end of the month. It might not be. Any extras of these, though, can be stuck onto my spare sticker sheets. Now, this sheet here with the text on it was probably easy to use for a bit until I used up the text phrases that made the most sense in my daily, but most of these things don't really, for the most part, make sense with how I plan in my daily. And the numbers I've just been using as the days come. So I don't think this will be completely used up, but I'm happy with the progress I made here. Now, with the date covers, because I've been taking Fridays off and I usually don't even do much of any kind of decorating, I just make a quick list on Sundays when I work. You can see the extra days that get left in here, and those will likely not get used, and I'll probably just throw those away because I don't imagine there's going to be a point where I'm going to want to use them. These guys will probably get used up by the end of the month. Same with these guys. I used up this sheet of stickers, this sheet of stickers, this sheet of stickers, and much like the other ones, this situation here just wasn't going to get used because of the way I used my daily. So this will get tossed, 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 tossed. These 2 guys I will keep using until the end of the week. I'll use this until I'm done with the week. Same with this. Any of the spares that I think I will be able to use, I will redistribute into my book of spare stickers on the pages where they make sense color-wise. But generally speaking, I feel really good about using this. Now, it did get a little boring to use the same kit over the course of an entire month. And so when we talk about stickers for May, I will show you how I am going to deal with that. Then the 2 other things I used were my gray mild liner and the washi tape. And here I have the best of successes. As you can see, the washi tape I actually finished up on Sunday when I was setting my daily up for my Moxie Life reflections, my HB90 reflections, and I used it up. So completely gone. Look at that. Used up roll of washi tape. Hell yeah. And then my mild liner, it still has a little tiny bit of ink left in it, but it's let me get a piece of paper so I can show you. But it's basically done. So I'm gonna call this one good too and toss this puppy out. So the mild liner, hell yeah, got used up. Only thing I'm carrying over are the Procrastiplanner stickers. I am going to bring in a few new items for the next month. So I guess we'll start with stickers. What I decided to do instead of going with one journaling kit for the month, I decided to go into my remnants of previous kits and pick 2 of them and see how much of them I can use in my daily. The reason I picked 2 is so I don't get bored with one color scheme over the course of the month. So this one is an older one, like a rain and rainbows kind of situation, which I thought would be really fun for May. It's going to be a little interesting because it's not as decorative as the journaling kits are. But the reason I want to use this one up is because since this is an older one, A, the stickers don't fit on the back. They don't work on the back of this paper because these are not the removable stickers. And B, because they're older, they don't have quite as much tackiness to them. So I do want to use up as much as I can of these before they go bad. So it's this set. And then the other one is one I actually used in my planner a couple weeks ago. And that is this springtime set from the 2021 Celebrations collection. This was the actual Celebrations collection page. And then there's these remnants. And I didn't even break them down because I was lazy at the time. So I thought, why not use them for the month and then break down whatever's left and stick it into my remnant binder when I'm done. So I want to see how much of these two kits I can use over the course of the month in my daily planner. And I mean elsewhere as well, but the focus is going to be in my daily planner. I may wind up pulling these into my weekly as well over the course of the month if I feel like I need to. Anyway, so yeah, these stickers. Instead of a highlighter, we're going to go with a pen. It's this Scribbles That Matter fine liner, which has been what I have been using in my daily planner anyway. It works, but I've been using the shit out of it, and I just want to see if I can use it up over the course of the month. And then the last thing is another roll of washi tape. I'm feeling really good. This one has slightly more, but it is another one I can definitely use in my daily to set up for my HB90 stuff. I can use this in my planner, in my bullet journal. It's a gray and pink kind of cherry blossom situation, so I think it'll work really well for this month. I think it's really pretty, but it is not one I have gravitated towards a whole bunch. On top of that, it's an older one. I don't even know where I got it. It's probably one of the ones I got from like one of the washi tape, like big groups back in the day. So I think I should be able to use this one up, especially if I utilize it the same way I used the other one. Next, we have art supplies. Two things. And again, I had Victory in one note, and then the other one I wasn't expecting there to be, quote, Victory. I just wanted to use it. And the one that's not, quote, Victory was this Paul Rubens palette. I will open it up here. I did make some progress on it, but I didn't make a huge dent in it. I did paint with this every single week, and I did make some amount of a dent in it, and I loved using it. I had forgotten quite how vibrant these colors are, and I just love it. So while I didn't use it up, I am definitely excited to have got some use out of it, and it gave me some ideas of how to use it in the future, but I will not be carrying this one over, much for the same reason as the blush. I want to mix it up. And then the other thing I had was this Moleskine sketchbook, and I finished this one up yesterday, painting anemones with my patrons. So this is a completely full sketchbook, and I mean, there were only 15 pages left, so I didn't anticipate it was going to be hard to fill it up, but it is a great feeling, especially as somebody who tends to hoard sketchbooks and notebooks. Anyway, so that one got filled. And so for next month, I'm going to do another paint palette and another sketchbook. This paint palette is going to be this one. It is my Archer and Olive watercolors that I bought. It's their handmade like mixes. This is a very different color story selection. It's actually 4 sets as opposed to this Paul Rubens, which is one cohesive set. But it's a very different mix of colors than the Paul Rubens set. And so I really want to spend some time painting with this. So this will be the palette, and I guess I'll put it here to kind of see how much of it I've used. You can see there's certain colors I've already dug into quite a bit, the beigey color and this peachy color, but I could definitely put some more use into this. And so then for the sketchbook, I am going to be using this handbook. And the difference between this one and the Moleskine one is I believe all I have used this one for, if I've used it at all. I haven't even used it at all. This is a brand new to me sketchbook that I bought because I really wanted to try out a square sketchbook and just hadn't touched it yet. 30 sheets, so 60 pages total, has not been used yet. So this will be a bit more of a challenge to use up in the month, but I really want to. So it's 140 GSM watercolor paper, and I think it's a really nice quality looking sketchbook. And so I want to just see if I can use this whole thing up with these Archer and Olive watercolors in the month of May. Then we're finally into my last category, which is the one I had the least amount of progress on, and that is books. So I had 2 books, a fiction and a nonfiction. The first book was Catherine the Great, the nonfiction book by Robert Massey. I got about 2/3 of the way through it and then just fizzled out on reading it. Part of it's because I'm just so into watching Magnificent Century, and because each of those episodes is an hour and 45 minutes long. Doesn't leave a lot of time for reading, except for the subtitles of the show. which PS are very interestingly done. Then the other book was We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I didn't even start that one. They're both on my list of, like, I want to finish the Catherine the Great book and I want to read the other one, but I'm going to walk away from them this month. They did not compete well enough with the Turkish drama I've been watching, basically. Like, that's the real answer here, is the when I've been, like, in my downtime and wanting to relax, that's what I've gravitated towards. But I did pick 2 books for this month to see if maybe those would inspire me to read, maybe take me a little bit away from Sultan Suleiman. We'll see how that goes. The first book is the fiction book the first book in a trilogy, the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. The first book is called The Fifth Season. It's on my bucket list this year to read a new to me fiction fantasy series, and this is one that has been recommended to me. I'm really excited to try it, so I'm hoping that I can get into it, or if I don't get into it this month, then it's definitely going to be on my list for when Jess and I are driving to Oregon over the summer, but I'd like to see how it goes now, especially before we start getting into House of the Dragon and Wheel of Time, which is going to make me want to reread those books in the fall. Both of those series, we don't know when the Wheel of Time Series 2 is coming out, but we know that House of the Dragon is coming out at the end of August. And so definitely I want to get into this new series before then, knowing my reading habits when it comes to fantasy stuff and rereading it. Anyway, the second book is a nonfiction book. It was going to be a different nonfiction book. And then I watched a YouTube video that really fascinated me about the idea of confidence and confidence culture being aimed at women, the self-help genres and being confident and all of that, and how women are supposed to be introspective and blah, 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 when really a lot of the issues are systemic and societal. This book is called Confidence Culture. It is by Shani Orgod and Rosalind Gill, and I really, really want to read that. I actually have the physical copy of it coming instead of the Kindle version, and I'm going to be starting that as soon as it gets in my hot little hands. Maybe a podcast episode once I'm done with it, we shall see, but it's just, the subject to me is fascinating. I have had a very love-hate, mostly hate relationship with self-help that has been developing a lot for me recently, and this book just seems like exactly what I am looking for in this moment, so we'll see if I can get through these. Fingers crossed. That was my results of Project Stashdown for April and my plans for May. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Are you participating in Project Stashdown? If you are, let me know one of the things you are trying to thoughtfully use or use up in the next month. I'd love to hear about it. I'd also love to hear if you did it in April, how'd it go? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, friends, peace.